Hello everybody, welcome back to Connor here, and we are back with the 5 things that Leeds United fans need to watch out for this week. Hope you're doing fantastically well, buoyed after Leeds' performance at the weekend, and you've taken a lot of positives. You've taken a lot of positives from the fact that Leeds United beat Liverpool in possession, it's the small things, and the fact that we scored 3 goals at the best team in the world's ground, and we're absolutely superb at the weekend and very, very unlucky. So yeah, great things to look forward to this week. We've also got content continuously throughout the week. Hello to all you new subscribers. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is free as always. Hit that notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload on this channel for your Leeds United and your football fan content. Now guys, number 1 I think we need to look out for this week is, of course, the Hull City game. Now, the Hull City game is a little bit of an issue because it breaks the fast, really, doesn't it? Leeds with that little bit of a break in terms of, fixtures. We always like that week-to-week schedule now, that advantage that we get in the Premier League. But now, of course, that is going to be broken because Leeds play Hull City midweek. What will Marcelo Bielsa do? Is he going to start using the youth for creativity and innovativeness? Who knows? Is he going to start using it for a bit of fresh youth and energy in the side? Or is it going to be a case of giving some of the lads in the first team a little bit of a run out? We saw maybe in the first 5-10 minutes, Robin looked a little bit laggy. And as well, when Rodrigo came on, he really struggled to get into the game. So maybe it's going to be a case of Leeds United maybe embedding some of the first teamers within that Hull City game. Obviously, it's a cup game. Are we that bothered? Not really, but under Marcelo Bielsa in the Premier League, Leeds United could get a little cup run going. Could we get to the quarters or semis? It's definitely possible. We've seen teams like Watford get there over the past couple of years. Obviously, we've seen Wigan win it, so the expectations are, for Leeds United will be quite high and the possibilities are endless. So I think that it's definitely something we could give a crack at, and I would like to see the likes of maybe Joe Gelhardt playing, maybe Greenwood. It'd be nice to see players like Cody Drama being involved, but of course, probably the realistic thing is that people like Robin, people like Rodrigo are going to have to be involved because for me, their match fitness needs to get up and up and up. But the issue obviously is with players that are going to be involved in this game that are in the first team. We do not want to get injuries. Obviously, we know that we have such a small squad and we're relying on every single individual in this squad without a lot of experienced backup. So it is absolutely crucial that Leeds United stay away from injury but get match fitness up for these players who need that exposure. So for me, the first thing to look out for is the starting selection for the Hull City game. Number 2 to look out for, of course, is going to be Liam Cooper. The reason I mentioned Liam Cooper is because I thought Leeds United at the weekend lacked a little bit of leadership. We lacked a bit of communication at the back, and of course, we lacked a bit of guidance. There was a lot of times, last season we barely conceded from set pieces. We had a wonderful clean sheet record, and was that because Ben White was so much better than Robin of what we saw at the weekend? I don't think so. I think Robin's still got the capabilities. Robin still had some excellent percentages over the weekend in terms of passing, in terms of aerial duels, 7 out of 9 won, but of course he made a few mistakes. So sometimes, when Struijk was going for the same balls as Koch and Koch was going for the same balls as Struijk, and there was a little bit of a communication error. We saw last year with Ben White. Ben White wouldn't have been half the player without Liam Cooper. Liam Cooper had a brilliant season, a barnstormer season, and they both improved each other. Liam improved Ben, Ben improved Liam, and I think that was absolutely exponential in Leeds' success last year. We don't concede goals from set pieces normally. Even if you look at last season, we actually did quite well, looking at the size of our squad. You thought we'd have conceded so much more, but now we've got a big brute in Robin coming in at 6'4". He was winning a lot of headers, so was Pascal. The issue is going to be it's the communication. You can be a brute force, you can be a big lad, but if you can't communicate with your centre-back partner, and I'm not saying they couldn't, but there was just a lack of in that department. You saw the Mo Salah goal. There was no communication for that goal. There was 4 players on Van Dijk, and we didn't really know what was going on with that second goal. I thought Robin was blocked off a little bit, but it's the communication, and I think Liam made Ben such a better player just with communication because Ben was so young. I think he can do that to another level with Robin. Robin is a brilliant player. You could see that technically. I thought he had a fabulous debut. He was just extremely, extremely unlucky. And with someone like Liam there to help him through it, I don't think Leeds face half of those problems at the weekend. So number 2 is going to be the focus on Liam Cooper this week, and if he is back. And guys, number 3, of course, is going to be the media coverage. I focused on it last week, but the media are amping Leeds up now with the second favourites, with the darlings. But with all that sort of stuff, with all that extra media coverage, comes a lot of hate as well, but we're used to that. It's normally the same old fans who have notifications switched on for Leeds United. If you're actually a football fan and you actually enjoy watching the fluidity and the style of football, you'd have watched Leeds at the weekend and thought, wow, that was impressive. Going to the champions, doing that, scoring 3 goals, out-possessioning them, which I don't think a team's done in 2 years at Anfield, maybe City. A normal neutral fan who hasn't got any bias would turn around and say that is excellent. Now, obviously, with the media coverage, we're going to be going into Fulham next week, and everyone's going to be expecting us to batter them. It's going to be all over everywhere. We've just got to manage expectations. We've got to stay with our own. We've got to stay in our own lane, essentially, because we cannot feed into that value. We've got to take it game by game. Obviously, we've got Hull City coming up, which is the first game, and we're just looking to avoid any injury there. But going into that Fulham game, we've got to manage expectations. We can't go in complacent. We can't go in overconfident. Listen, we didn't beat Liverpool. That's the big thing. We didn't beat Liverpool. We put all that effort in. We did so well. We scored 30 goals at Anfield and we came away with nothing. But with 37 games left in this Premier League season, you've got to take so many positives out of that game. Norwich beat Man City 3-2. Circumstances are so different. And I'm sorry, going away at Anfield, I feel it's a harder game than playing at home to Manchester City. If you compare Liverpool's home record and City's away record, it's completely, there are different levels to it. So that comparative doesn't even work for me. But the coverage is going to be very, very interesting to see whether or not they're back in Leeds or whether or not Leeds are going to absolutely plummet. So number 3 is going to be the coverage for me. And number 4, guys, is going to be youngsters. Number 4 for me is going to be youngsters. The reason being is because I think there's going to be an exposure of a lot of the youngsters against Hull City. Now, obviously, we've waxed lyrical about the game against Hull City for number 1, but it's going to be the youth system, which is going to be really interesting. We're going to see the likes of Cody Drama. We're going to see the likes of Joe Gelhardt, obviously, amongst others, Charlie Allen, who we're going to see the likes of these players playing. I would like to see them, and it's going to be really interesting to see whether or not they're going to be able to seamlessly transition into this Leeds side, because that's why they were brought in. They were brought in for the future, of course, but the short-term vision as well is to get them involved in some Premier League games in some capacity if they're going to be coming on in the second halves, if they're going to be featuring from the start, some of them potentially if there are injuries to this Leeds United squad and rotation. So that's going to be my number 4. It's going to be to see the youngsters this week, and hopefully we do get to see them. I'm particularly looking forward to seeing Joe Gelhardt, and hopefully we're going to be seeing them impressing against Hull City on Wednesday night. Guys, number 5 for me is going to be Marcelo Bielsa. Now, the reason I mentioned Marcelo is because of that. I couldn't believe if there was a camera focused on him during that game, the stress in his face, the anxiety, it looked like a bit of pressure as well. He just looked like he was absolutely ready-made for this. We didn't see any of these stress levels for me in the Championship, but now he's at the top level. He's against the top managers. He is taking everything even more personally than he normally does, and you could tell that. There was a couple of kicks from Meslier where he went absolutely nuts, and it was so interesting to see his reactions, his physical reactions to everything that happened and didn't happen for Leeds United. Any mistake, anything was kicked, he was celebrating the goals. We've never seen Marcelo as animated as that. Obviously, towards the back end of last season, you'd see him doing some a little celebration, or he'd nod his head, but that'd be it. He even went as far as spilling his coffee, for goodness sake, at the weekend on his bucket. But he was absolutely vivacious at the weekend. He was just everywhere on that touchline, and he was pacing more than normal as well. And it's going to be seriously interesting to see whether or not Marcelo Bielsa is going to keep up that intensity, because he's in the top division now. He's got to where he wants to be. This is where Leeds have been trying to get to for 16 years. Does it mean even more to him right here, right now? Does he feel that he's got an even bigger level of expectation? We'll have to see against Fulham, but I found that extremely interesting at the weekend. See his level of anxiety and his level of sort of wanting to do well, the will to do well. Of course he wants to do well every single game, but physically you don't really see it from Bielsa from the touchline. So that's number 5. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Bielsa keeps that up against Fulham. And guys, the winner of the competition, so the first £100 winner this weekend is Carl Stanley. Now, Carl will be getting an email, and Carl is the winner of the first £100. £100 is being given out each and every week. I'm going to be releasing a question on each and every one of my previews. You have to put the answer to the question in the comments, screenshot that you subscribed, screenshot the answer, and screenshot a special question that will be released on Thursday on the preview. So tune into that to be in with a chance of winning another £100. Congratulations to Carl, and I'll see you in a bit.